In this video, I'm going to start with the topic simple arithmetic functions. Now let us see what are arithmetic functions. In our earlier class, we have seen various functions. If you take arithmetic function, it is a function from positive integers to the complex numbers. In our class 11, we have studied about domain, the codomain and range of a function. So, arithmetic functions are those functions whose domain is the set of positive integers. So, whose domain is the set of positive integers and whose range is a subset of complex numbers. We have studied about complex numbers in class 11 itself. So, arithmetic functions are all those functions which is from positive integers to complex numbers. So, the domain of the arithmetic function, it comprises of all the positive integers, and the range of an arithmetic function is a subset of the set of complex numbers. Arithmetic functions are also known as number theoretic functions. Now let us see an example of arithmetic function. As we see various examples and as we solve various problems, it will be easy for us to understand what are arithmetic functions. So this is an arithmetic function. Pi of n is equal to number of primes less than or equal to n. N belongs to n. N belongs to n means this n is natural number. So this pi of n is a function which is defined as number of primes less than or equal to n, where n is a natural number. So first let us see what is pi of 1. Pi of 1 are all those prime numbers less than or equal to 1. 1 is already, it is neither prime nor composite. So the number of prime numbers less than or equal to 1 is 0. So pi of 1 is 0. Now let us see what is pi of 2. That is the number of primes less than or equal to 2. The number of primes less than or equal to 2 is only one number, because only 2 is the only prime number which is less than or equal to 2. So the number of prime numbers less than or equal to 2 is 1. Next we have 3. Now what are the various prime numbers less than or equal to 3? We have 2 and 3. So the number of prime numbers less than or equal to 3 is 2. The next is pi of 4. The various prime numbers less than or equal to 4 are again, it is 2, because only 2 and 3 are the prime numbers less than or equal to 4. We have to consider only the positive integers. Only those positive integers we have to consider, and not the negative integers. Then the next one is pi of 5. What are the various prime numbers less than 5? They are 2, 3 and 5. So pi of 5 is 3. What about 6? 6 is not a prime number. So the various prime numbers less than 6 are again 3. Next we will see pi of 7. The various prime numbers less than 7 are, we have 2, 3, 5 and 7. So pi of 7 is 4. Like this it goes on. So this pi of n, that is the number of primes less than or equal to n, where n is a natural number, is an arithmetic function. So arithmetic functions are nothing but those functions which is mapped from positive integers to the subset of a complex number. Next we will see what are simple arithmetic functions. First we will see what is additive function. A function f is said to be an additive function if for two natural numbers a and b that are relatively prime. That is, these two natural numbers are relatively prime. What is the meaning of relatively prime? We say two numbers are relatively prime if their greatest common divisor is 1. Say for example 4 and 9. Here the common divisor of 4 and 9 is 1. There are no other common divisors. So the GCD of 4, 9 is 1. On the other hand, take the case of 4 and 6. Here the common divisor of 4 and 6 is 2. So GCD of 4, 6 is 2. So we say a function f is an additive function if for any two natural numbers a and b, we have f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b. In this case, we call f as an additive function. Now, what is completely additive function? A function f is said to be completely additive function if for any two natural numbers. That is, it need not be relatively prime. If for any two natural numbers, we have f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b, then we call f as a completely additive function. So this is the meaning of additive function and completely additive function. So now we will see the definition. An arithmetic function is called additive if for relatively prime natural numbers a and b, GCD of a comma b is equal to 1 and f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b. So we have an arithmetic function f is said to be an additive function if for relatively prime natural numbers a and b whose greatest common divisor is 1 or they are relatively prime. We have f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b. Next, the meaning of completely additive function. We call an arithmetic function f is called completely additive if for two natural numbers a and b, we have f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b. That is, these two natural numbers need not be relatively prime. For any two natural numbers a and b, if this condition is satisfied, then we say that function is a completely additive function. Now we will see an example for additive function. Now we have an arithmetic function called omega of n. It is equal to number of distinct prime factors of n. N belongs to n. So omega of n is nothing but it is defined by the number of distinct prime factors of n, where n is a natural number. So first we will see what is omega of 1. Omega of 1 does not have any prime factor, so omega of 1 is 0. Next we have omega of 2. 2 has one prime factor as 2, so omega of 2 is 1. Next omega of 3. Omega of 3 is again 1 because 3 has only one distinct prime factor. Now we will see what is omega of 4. 4 is nothing but it is 2 into 2. So the number of distinct prime factors of 4 is only 1. That is, it is only this 2. So omega of 4 is also equal to 1. Next let us see what is omega of 5. Omega of 5 is again equal to 1 because the distinct prime factor of 5 is only 5. So like that it goes on. Now we will see what are the number of distinct prime factors of 20. So 20 we can write it as 20 is equal to 2 into 2 into 5. So this number of distinct prime factors of 20 we can denote it as omega of 20. Now we can write omega of 20 is equal to 2 because the number of distinct prime factors of 20 are, it is only 2 because this is 2 square into 5. So the distinct prime factors are only 2 and 5. So omega of 20 is 2. Now how we can write omega of 20? Omega of 20 is equal to omega of 4 into 5. Now we already have omega of 4 equal to 1 and omega of 5 equal to 1. What is omega of 4 plus omega of 5? It is equal to 1 plus 1, it is equal to 2. Now what is omega of 4 into 5, which is omega of 20, is also equal to 2. And is the GCD of this 4 comma 5 equal to 1? It is equal to 1. That is 4 and 5 are relatively prime. So it satisfies the condition for additive function. So omega of 4 into 5 is equal to omega of 4 plus omega of 5. Therefore, omega of n is an additive function. So, we have got omega of n as an additive function. The condition for additive function is that for any two natural numbers a and b which are relatively prime, we should have omega of ab is equal, we should have f of ab is equal to f of a plus f of b. Here, for this function omega of n is equal to number of distinct prime factors of n, we have got omega of 4 into 5 is equal to omega of 4 plus omega of 5. Therefore, we can say omega of n is an additive function. I hope this is clear. Now we will see what is multiplicative function and completely multiplicative function. We say an arithmetic function f is a multiplicative function if for two natural numbers a and b that are relatively prime, that is their GCD is equal to 1. We have f of a into b is equal to f of a into f of b. Then we call the function f as a multiplicative function. What we saw in addition function, additive function, a function f is said to be additive if f of a into b is equal to f of a plus f of b, where a and b are natural numbers and they are relatively prime. Here in multiplicative function, f of a into b is equal to f of a into f of b. Then such arithmetic functions are called multiplicative functions. Similarly, completely multiplicative function, here any function f is said to be completely multiplicative if for any a comma b, not necessary that they have to be relatively prime. If for any a comma b which are natural numbers, we have f of a into b is equal to f of a into f of b. Then such functions are called completely multiplicative function. So now we will see the definition: multiplicative function and completely multiplicative function. An arithmetic function f is called multiplicative if for relatively prime natural numbers a and b, their GCD is equal to 1, f of a into b is equal to f of a into f of b. Now we will see completely multiplicative function. An arithmetic function is called completely multiplicative if for two natural numbers a and b, f of a into b is equal to f of a into f of b. Now we will move on to exercise 1.2. The first question, if tau of n is equal to number of positive divisors of n, n belongs to n, then find tau of 16. That is, we have to find the number of positive divisors of 16. What are the different ways in which we can write 16? 16 we have 1 into 16, then or we can write 2 into 8, or we have 4 into 4. So the number of positive divisors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. So I will tell you an easy way to write this. So the divisors of 16 are, we have 1 and 16. 16 into 1 is 16. Then 2 and 8. 2 into 8 is 16. Then 4 into 4 is 16. So the divisors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8 and 16. So we have tau of 16 is the number of positive divisors of 16. It is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So tau of 16 is equal to 5. I hope this is clear. So we have to find what are the various divisors of 16. The next question is tau of 28. That is, we have to find the number of positive divisors of 28. So the divisors of 28 are, we can write 28 as 1 into 28 or 2 into 14, then 7 into 4. So the divisors of 28 are 1, 28, 2, 14, 4, 7. So the number of divisors of 28 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So tau of 28 is equal to 6. The next one is tau of 36. That is, we have to find the number of positive divisors of 36. What are the various divisors of 36? We have 1 into 36. Then we have 2 into 18. Then we have 3 into 12. Then 4 into 9. And we have 6 into 6. So the various divisors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18 and 36. So the number of positive divisors of 36 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the number is 9. So tau of 36 is equal to 9. The next one is tau of 45. So the various divisors of 45 are, we have 1 into 45. Then let me write it here. 45 is equal to 1 into 45. Then it is not divisible by 2. Next we will see 3. 3 into 15. Then it is not divisible by 4. Next number is 5. 5 into 9. And other numbers 6, 7, 8. It is not divisible. So we can stop here. So the divisors of 45 are 1, 3, 5, 9, 15 and 45. So the number of positive divisors of 45 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So tau of 45 is equal to 6. The next question is, if sigma of n is equal to sum of positive divisors of n belongs to n, then find sigma of 18. So before we saw tau of n as number of positive divisors of n, where n is a natural number. Here it is sum of the positive divisors of n. Now we will see the various divisors of 18. 18 we can write it as 1 into 18, 2 into 9, 3 into 6. So the divisors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 and 18. So we have sigma of 18 is the sum of all these numbers 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 and 18. So sigma of 18 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 18. So this is equal to 39. Next one is sigma of 30. That is the sum of positive divisors of 30. So first we will see the divisors of 30. 30, we can write 1 into 30, 2 into 15, 3 into 10 and 5 into 6. So the divisors of 30 are 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15 and 30. So we have sigma of 30 is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 6 plus 10 plus 15 plus 30. So this is equal to 72. The next question is sigma of 36. That is the sum of positive divisors of 36. So first we will see what are the divisors of 36. 36 is, you can write it is 1 into 36, 2 into 18, 3 into 12, 4 into 9 and 6 into 6. So the divisors are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 18 and 36. So sigma of 36, it is the sum of all these. 6 plus 9. So when we add all these, we get 91. I hope this is clear. The next question is sigma of 49. So we have to find the sum of positive divisors of 49. First we will see the divisors of 49. 49, it is 1 into 49 and 7 into 7. So the divisors are 1, 7 and 49. So sigma of 49 is 1 plus 7 plus 49. It is equal to 57. So this is the sum of positive divisors of 49. The next one is, if sigma k of n is equal to sum of kth powers of all positive divisors of n belongs to n, then find sigma 2 of 12. So it is the sum of kth powers of all positive divisors of n. That is sigma k of n. So we are asked to find sigma 2 of 12. First we will see what are the divisors of 12. So 12 we have 1 into 12, 2 into 6, this is equal to 3 into 4. So the divisors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. So sigma 2 of 12, it is the sum of square of all these numbers. That is sum of kth powers of all the positive divisors. So since it is given 2 here, so sigma 2 of 12 will be 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus 4 square plus 6 square plus 12 square. So this is 1 plus 4 plus 9 plus 16 plus 36 plus 144. So this is equal to 210. Next question is sigma 3 of 4. So we can easily say the divisors of 4. The divisors of 4 are 1 and 2 and 4. So sigma 3 of 4, it is sum of the kth powers, that is 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 4 cube. 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 4 cube. So this is equal to 1 plus 8 plus 64. So this is equal to 73. So sigma 3 of 4 is 73. Next one is sigma 3 of 9. First we will see what are the divisors of 9. This is also easy. 1, 3 and 9 are the 3 divisors of 9. So we have sigma 3 of 9 is equal to 1 cube plus 3 cube plus 9 cube. So this is equal to 1 plus 3 cube is 27 and 9 cube is 729. So this is equal to 757. That is sigma 3 of 9 is equal to 757. Next one is sigma 4 of 3. Sigma 4 of 3, it is the sum of fourth power of all positive divisors of 3. So we have divisors of 3 are 1, 3. So sigma 4 of 3 is nothing but 1 raised to 4 plus 3 raised to 4. That is equal to 1 plus 81. This is equal to 82. So sigma 4 of 3 is equal to 82. The next question is pi of n is equal to number of primes less than or equal to n, n belongs to n. Then find first one pi of 24. So we have to find the various prime numbers less than or equal to 24. So first we will see prime numbers less than or equal to 24. So the various prime numbers less than or equal to 24 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19 and 23. So these are the various prime numbers that are less than or equal to 24. So pi of 24 is the number of prime numbers less than or equal to 24. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it is equal to 9. The next one is number of primes less or equal to 40. Pi of 40. So the various primes less or equal to 40 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31 and 37. So we have pi of 40 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So pi of 40 is equal to 12. The next question is pi of 63. So the number of the prime numbers less or equal to 63 are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59 and 61. So we have pi of 63 is equal to 18. The next question is if omega of n is equal to number of distinct prime factors of n, n belongs to n, then find omega of 22. So we have to find the number of distinct prime factors of n. So 22, let us try to factorize 22 to 11. So 22 is equal to 2 into 11. So the number of distinct prime factors of 22 is nothing but it is equal to 2 because it has only two distinct prime factors 2 and 11. So omega of 22 is equal to 2. Next question is number of distinct prime factors of 68. So 68, let us try to factorize. 68, if we factorize, we get 2 square into 7. So the number of distinct prime factors is only 2 because only 2 and 17 are the distinct prime factors. So omega of 68 is equal to 2. Next question is omega of 105. So first let us factorize 105. It's not divisible by 2, so we can go with 3. So 35, next 5, 7. So 105 is 3 into 5 into 7. So the number of distinct factors of 105 are 3. That is 3, 5 and 7 are the distinct prime factors of 105. So omega of 105 is equal to 3. Next question is omega of 780. So let us factorize 780 to 3, we have 65, 5, 13. So 780 is equal to 2 square into 3 into 5 into 3. So the distinct prime factors of 780 are 2, 3, 5 and 13. So omega of 780 is equal to 4. So the number of distinct prime factors of 780 are 1, 2, 3 and 4. The next question is, if this symbol is called capital omega, we can also say it as omega. If omega of n is equal to total number of prime factors of n belongs to n, then find. The first one is omega of 36. The small omega, it was the number of distinct prime factors of n, whereas here it is total number of prime factors of n. So first let us factorize 36. So 36, if we factorize, we get 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. So omega of 36 is equal to 4. These are the total number of prime factors of n because it is 2 into 2 into 3 into 3. So omega of 36 is equal to 4. Next one is omega of 156. So first let us factorize 156 so that we will be able to know the total number of prime factors. So here it is 78, 39, 3 and 13. So 156 is 2 into 2 into 3 into 13. So omega of 156 is equal to 4. These are the total number of prime factors of 156. The next one is 420. So first let us factorize 420. So we have 210, 105, 5 and 7. So 420 is 2 into 2 into 3 into 5 into 7. So the total number of prime factors of 420 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So omega of 420 is equal to 5. I hope this video was useful for you. Thank you for watching.